Hello everyone. So first of all, I appreciate you joining us today. My name is Nadeep Singh. Today we will explore the world of Android development and we will learn the scope of Android, why we have to learn Android. So just I share my screen. Yeah. Yeah. Just send a thumbs up in the chat box if you are able to see my screen. Okay. So now today's session we will cover introduction, what is Kotlin Android, what is the networking and APIs in Android, how we can store the data in Android applications, what is the components in Android, how we can develop attractive UI elements, these things. And at the end of the session, we have some practical demo and where we build a one dummy app. So now, right now, what is Android? We generally Android is a open source operating system which is powering a mobile applications, our tablets, smart screens, and watches. Right now, we see that there is a smart TVs which is powered by Android. There is a smartphones, there is a smart tablets, watches which is powered by Android. So right now there is billion of devices are available which is powered by Android. So this is developed by Google right now. Now, what is the Kotlin? We study that we have OS, like we have Android operating system. Now we want one programming language which we can use to develop our Android applications. Now Kotlin has become a preferred language for developing Android applications. Kotlin is a modern, concise type programming language which is developed by JetBrains. We can use a Java for developing applications, but the Kotlin has become a preferred language for developing Android applications. Please feel free to send your queries in the chat box. I will pick and back to you. If you have any query, please send in chat box. So now, what is now importance of Android? Why we have to learn Android? We see that this is global reach. There is a billion of devices are available in the market which is powered by Android. So if you learn Android development, there is a high demand of skilled developers in Android sector. So we have two options to build an application. First one is native and second one is cross-platform. For native, we use a Kotlin language. Kotlin is a programming language which we can use for developing a native mobile applications. And cross-platform, we have Flutter and React Native. This is a cross-platform applications where we can build Android and iOS build. Right now, this is a massive ecosystem. For Android, we have Google Play Store where we have download and upload our Android applications and we can publish our app globally, and so user can download our application and use that. Now, move ahead. The important part is developing tool. For developing our Android application, which tool we can use? We know that Kotlin is a programming language. We can use that language. But right now we will learn which tool we prefer to build our Android applications. Right now, Android Studio. Android Studio is our official IDE integrated development environment Android developer tool where we have rich set of tools available like it's coding, debugging, and testing. So we can tools in a pre-built Android Studio, which will be helpful for us for coding, debugging, and testing. Along with this, you have 12. Suppose that you have developed an application. Now you have to test application in real device, in a mobile device. For example, you have to create a one UI, right? So you want to test in that UI in a real device. For that, in our Android Studio, we have Android Emulator. It's a virtual device, but it's look like a real device. So we can test our app functionality, app UI, app configuration in a virtual device. In a practical section, We will learn how we can use emulator, how we can create an emulator in practical section. We will do this. So now, user interface design. This is the most important thing in our application development. So user interface, it is like a, for example, we use in daily life, we use so many apps, right? But we think about that there is a one button, there is a one text view. This is a part of our UI. This is a user interface from where user can interact with our application. So in design, this is a layouts and elements, the group of the elements. The elements consist of text view, buttons, text fields, images. For example, we see our WhatsApp app. We daily use WhatsApp to sending a messages. If we thinking about that UI, it's a user interface that there is a one button to send a message. There is a one field for enter a message. This is a part of our UI. Now, networking. Suppose that you have sent a one message and the receiver receive your message. How they act, how they receive your message. It's all our things are done over the internet using networking. Networking is the concept. Suppose we have our application connect with the server to receive and send the messages from globally. It's a similar. Suppose that we have making a chatting app. So we have to send a message to a receiver. So over the internet using networking, we send our message to a receiver end. Data storage. Suppose that you have received an image and you have received a text message. So where these images, these text messages stored in our application, that's the concept of data storage. Now just have you thinking about that you have received messages from WhatsApp and receive a multimedia. So where their images are stored in your device. Are you thinking that? So in Android, we have multiple type of data storage. For storing a small share preference using key value pair, we use share preference. For storing images, videos, and multimedia, we use internal storage. Internal storage are like our font storage, which we have get. So right now, suppose that we have created one document and we you want to upload on server and share the link to our friends or someone else. This cloud is a part of the cloud storage. Using the cloud storage, we can share and synchronize our data storage and share media files, everything. Yeah, please feel free to send your queries in a chat box if you have any query. Okay, now move to a advanced topic, notifications. We have in our daily lives, we have see that notifications when we are using another app and you will receive a notification from WhatsApp and something another apps. It's a part of it's a notification when you have the system showing a alert message to you on the top of the screen. It's a notification. Either it's for a message, it's either for a system, it's either for an alarm. It's just a we have used notification to alert a user. Now background, so work managers. So in during our development we have some task which we have take a load, which we take ahead time and take a resource. For handling that task we use a background task for work manager. Either we have killed the app, either we have put the background. We are using a work managers to put our task on the background so that user can interact our application without knowing that what's happening in background. Now third party libraries. Now there is a huge developers, right, in Android developers, though there is individuals, there are group of organizations who already build a code and packages to and publish it globally for us. So we just use that libraries for us and save our time. For example, I have to implement a API. So socket to connect a API and call a API. For that case, we already have a retrofit library. So using that library, we call APIs and we save a time to handle everything and write a code. So this is a third-party libraries. In demo, we will learn that how we add these third-party libraries. Now, in earlier, we using a XML and Java and Kotlin files to make a Android application. In XML part, we made develop our UI part, and for handling that, we use a Kotlin files to handle and logically. But right now, we have UI toolkit that's we call is Jetpack Compose. Jetpack Compose is an Android modern and fully declarative UI toolkit which is help us and it's reduce the code and it's less, we have to write a less code and maintainable code. So we have demo which we have using the Jetpack Compose. And in demo section we will use a Jetpack Compose to make a UI. Now we jump to our practical section that is the where we have key features to do app. We have built one application for a task list, add a task. We see that how our dialogues and notifications working, how we interact that elements, that's radio button, edit fields, that things. So now jump to a Android Studio. Okay. First of all, you can download Android Studio. This is the official website. Nor you can search Android Studio on Google. You will redirect this website and download a Google Android Studio according to your system configuration. No, and right now, just wait. This is an overview of Android Studio when you install then Android Studio. This is the first screen. So this is our first screen. Now click on the new project. Here we have options because Android powering a tablet, Wear OS, television, and CarPlay media. So according to that, we have to select that which type of application we are developing. So right now, in this case, we select mobile and tablet and create a empty activity. Here we are option to create an application with Compose or XML and Kotlin file. So here we can select Jetpack Compose empty activity. Here just write a name of the project. You can write anyway, but this package, this is an application ID. That's a package ID. It must be unique. And this is the location where we want to save our project files and just click on the finish button. You will see that there is some predefined code already added in our new created project. So either you can use that or either you can delete this. Just waiting to finish the Gradle and build that product. It's take a time according to the internet speed. They are downloading files for us, so it's take a time. Okay. So this is one another project that's for web your demo. This is a project structure where we can see that our project files like resource files, media files, Gradle files. This is a emulator. Just we have create a virtual emulator for our testing, right? So right now we will learn how we can create a virtual emulator. So now there is an option. There is an option. You will see that device manager. Now just click on the plus icon, and there's an option to create a virtual device. Just click on it. Here you will see that there is an option to create a virtual device for what? Tablet, Wear OS, desktop, television, automobile. So here we select phone and we select our dimensions according because every phone, every device has on pixels on width and height. So according to our requirement, we can select here. So suppose in our case, we select pixel 7a and click on the next button. Here we write a name of our virtual and here we select an image. Image is like an Android version. Suppose that we have Android 15, Android 14, Android 13. According to our requirement, we can select a system image. So in our case, we already download that image as 36. So we can select this thing. If you want to test an Android 13, Android 11, you can download. Now just click on after selecting your system image, just click on the finish button and you will see that our new added virtual device added here. Now just click on the play button to open emulator. Now this is it's look like a real device. Everything settings, icons, similar like a real device. But actually this is a virtual device to test our application, to test our app functionality which we have developed. Now you see that it's similar like a real device, same logo. It's a look like logo, camera, everything's a similar like a real device. This one. This is the same real life. This is an icon, search, Google search, battery, everything are like a real device. So now go to our app. So this is our application files which we have to develop. Let's take a time to preview that screen. Okay. So it just for you, the basic we have. So I'm developing just to create a basic app, just a basic UI. Like this is a two text fields to input a text. There is a one checkbox to select or unselect this. Or this is a radio buttons. So you have to select any one, either this one, either backend or either front end. And this is a submit button to submit that details. And This is our list view. Once we have add submitted details in a screen, how they look like that we have entered a title, we added a description, we added a tag select or these things. Now just I run the app in real device. Okay, so this is our dummy app for Android webinar. This we have set a application icon. It's now just click on it. This is our home screen. So right now we don't have any task added in our list. So that's why it's showing a no task added yet. This is a empty list. Now just click on the that button. This is a part of our UI. So how we can interact with our application. This is a concept of UI. So now just click on the floating but this button. Now this is our another screen which have another user interface. So we have enter that field and we can enter text like Kotlin. Right now we have to handle that cases, we add the message. So okay, now we add title and we add a description. Now we have select this checkbox, it's urgent or not. And in this case, we unselect this thing, but in next task we add this box. This is another thing. We have a combo buttons. We can select either front end or either back end. So we select front end and click on the submit. But this is the when we click on the submit, that details which we have entered, it's added in our list. So that task which we created earlier, Kotlin learning basic of Kotlin, added in our task list. So now when you click on the double tab, it's updated. Now you have update the list and update the UI. So it's the part when suppose that we have to click image. When we click on the image, it's a preview on your full screen like in WhatsApp. Similar way, we have to how do we interact our UI part. So once this is an example of dialogues, how we can interact with our application dialogues. Suppose that we have to mark complete this task. For that confirmation, system asks a user, are you sure you want to complete this? This is a part of the interaction. So if you click on no, then nothing happens. But if you click OK button, now our task is completed. Now you see that this is a notification, which earlier it's a system alert. They have alert something to you that some operations happen, some things are done. That's why. Now just create another task. Okay. In this list, we added three tasks, which is one is this that is completed. Which right now we have two tasks. That symbol is showing that this is an urgent tag. So this is the UI. So how we can make our app impressive, make a UI impressive so that users interact with easily. So that's why this is an icon. So icon is also interact. So when we click there, so it's again we have a action button to delete this task. Now it's gone. And again, this is a notification. Now, just suppose that we have built this build. Now you want to share the build to our friends. You want to share a build to someone else to test. So just in Android Studio, there is a menu, build, and click on the generate APK. Now our APK is generated. Now you can that APK you can share with our friends to test this app. You see that this is our APK, and if I'm sharing this APK to you or about someone else, so they can easily install our app and use this app. For example, now we this is an example of Jetpack Compose. So how in Jetpack Compose we are creating this interactive UI showing a text, interact dialogues, buttons, everything else. So just a quick changes. If you want to change the color of this box, so we can in Jetpack Compose, we can easily update the UI, up change the color of code and everything. It's easy. Like now you see that if I change the font size, so it's bigger. So like this one in Jetpack Compose, we can build our application using UI toolkits. So it's easy to manage UI and logical part in a single file that is a Kotlin file. Right now, uh, this is our Gradle file where we added our third-party libraries, so which are pre-built libraries are available in globally, so we can use that libraries. So in this project, we are using a room database libraries, Dagger Hills, each and everything. So this is a name of the library. So we see that this is a material 3. Material 3 is our UI library, which we prefer to use in our Android application. If we move on there, this is an official website for select material 3 components. You now just check out this website, and here this is components. You will see that material 3 library provide a there are large number of components like radio button, sheets, sliding switch. So using that, we can use these components in our application to make a impressive UI. Okay, so now this is an example of our Jetpack Compose project. Now here we have this I will show an example of Java, Kotlin and XML project. So how they look and how they are managed layouts and Kotlin files. So here we select this thing, basic view activity for XML and Kotlin version. click here. Okay. So now just click on the finish button. Yeah, please, in the chat box, please you can send your queries. If okay, so in XML and Kotlin version, we have two different files, one for XML and another for Kotlin. In XML file, we have designed a user interfaces like take a time to build a Gradle file. Just wait a while. So okay, now you will compare. If we compare both projects in Jetpack Compose, we have only one file to manage our UI and manage our logical part, that is coding section. But in basic activity here, we have two different files, one for user interface and another one is for Kotlin file for write the logics and everything. Right nowadays, most of developers prefer a Jetpack Compose because it's a less code. We can write a less code and we have make a impressive UI designs. So this is an example. This is code to show this tag. So for handling and UI part, we all are done in just this core line of code. This one. And the most important things, we create a components and we reuse this components in another project. So it's a maintainable code and readable code. This is a demo version. So if you have any question, query, please send your queries in chat box.